question you'll probably never have to ask in the town of Thomaston.
Pardon me, sir. Do you have the time?
Clocks. They're all over. It's because of this man, world-renowned clockmaker Seth Thomas. Born in Wolcott, at the age of 28, he moved to what was then called Plymouth Hollow and built his first clock factory in 1813. Seth Thomas was a huge success, so much so.
The town was renamed Thomastown sometime around 1860, and it was named Thomaston when we incorporated in 1875.
Many of Seth Thomas's clocks are here at the Historical Society in the center of town. Also here, this huge Seth Thomas clock tower high above the Opera House, one of 3 in town, one of 3,600 sold throughout the world.
And you wind it over here with a crank.
Yes, this one has to be hand wound.
I come up every week and do it on Saturday morning.
Our next stop in Thomaston takes us to the Vi Arms restaurant. If you want to know the history of the town, come in here and check out the walls.
Just about every inch of wall space is dedicated to the history of Thomaston. So while you eat, you can take in some history. And there's nothing like that Thomaston hospitality.
The food is superb, and it's very friendly. You know all your customers as they come in.
Our next stop in Thomaston, the beautiful Opera House. I'm joined here by Jeff Dunn, and he's going to show us all around.
The building was built in 1883, and the theater opened in 1884, the following year. When it was originally built, this was where they had local dances, ballroom dances. They had prize fighting in here. In the 1920s, it became a movie house. After the movies, it just closed down.
It wasn't until the late 1960s the Opera House would be of interest again. Today it's used by a local theater group and is once again a gem in Thomaston. And it's only going to get better.
We're getting $180,000 from the state of Connecticut to kick off our 4-phase renovation project.
Now, if you're looking to catch a show this weekend, the Little Shop of Horrors opens tonight. It runs for the next 3 weekends at the Thomaston Opera House. And Scott will be back a little bit later on with more about Thomaston.
Almost 2 million cars are being recalled. Next, how your car could be putting you in harm's way.
Continues right now from Thomaston. There are clocks everywhere. If you don't get your time from the Thomaston Savings Bank clock, well, then you can get it across the street at the Webster Savings Bank clock. Or you can look up high at the Opera House clock. Or you can head down the street to the Congregational Church to get the time from the Seth Thomas clock. But where I like to get the time when I come to Thomaston, right in the center of town. Take a look at that Seth Thomas clock. Welcome to Thomaston. We'll be back in just a minute with more of Every Town Has a Story.
As storm Drew hammers Connecticut with...
This is not the story of a business, it's the story of a legacy.
Well, you're in a Thomaston Clock Company. This used to be the Seth Thomas factory outlet.
Home to the famous clocks known around the world. When the Seth Thomas Company headed south in 1983, John and Ron took over the outlet, renamed it, and started tick-tocking their way into the future. There are wall clocks, banjo clocks, grandfather clocks, mantle clocks, sport clocks, all shapes, all sizes, all brands, including, of course, the original Seth Thomas clock. One of the most magnificent pieces, this grandfather clock.
This is mostly inlaid woodwork, and they're using a mahogany and cherry, and the woodworking here being done by hand is just exquisite.
For a lot of folks, these clocks are more than just timekeepers.
The sound in the background, that alone is very important to a lot of people.
The most popular chimes are the Westminster, the St. Michael, and the Whittington. People become attached to their clocks.
Once you get into it, you cannot get away from it.
It's true.
It's a love affair, really.
It's a love affair.
Absolutely.
In fact,
Even a broken clock is right twice a day, but most people like theirs to run 24 hours. So when they break, they can come here to be repaired.
Just remember how many clocks have been sold over the years, and they all need service eventually. So we get a lot of them, and Some people bring them in like it was their baby.
And while some people might think that's to each his own.
And we will check in with Scott one last time.
In Thomaston at the Railroad Museum of New England. This is a really neat place. I'm joined by Bill Walken. Bill, tell us about this and what happens during the summer.
We're closed for the winter right now. In the summertime, we do have an excursion train, and we go from Thomaston to Waterville, Waterville to the Thomaston Dam, and back to Thomaston.
For what reason? Fun.
Fun.
That's it. It's a train ride for fun. All right, thank you very much. Hey, you ever been to Stonington?
Yes.
Nice place, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's where we're going next week, for every town has a story. Until then, I'm Scott Haney for Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Thank you very much, Bill.